Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I have the pleasure of Sri D.K. Hari's company. He is a prolific author. He is also an expert on a lot of topics. He's also a great philanthropist. I can go on and on. Probably the introduction will itself take the time of a talk. But hopefully in the days and weeks to come, we'll do a little bit more about Hari the person, Hema the person, and their various initiatives. So I'm just completely impressed. That's all I can tell you, and I don't impress easily. So welcome to P Guru's channel, Mr. Hari.
Pleasure to meet you.
So DK, we today are going to talk about Kashmir, the 7,000-year history of Kashmir. Now you have done a series of books on Tamil Thai, Telugu Talli region.
What we call Desh Pradesh.
Desh
It's a Desh, and in the Desh is Pradesh. Huh?
So along the same lines, you are now working on what I hope you can see this thing.
You can open the cover. You can open
we can open this
plastic cover.
Let the glare go away a little
Or I
bit.
can show the full.
So this is a work in progress called Kashmira Pura Vasini, and to talk a little bit about this and also the history of Kashmir, 7,000-year rich history of Kashmir. After all, the last 70 years is just what 1%.
One blimp. Just
blimp.
1%.
And there is a lot more to Kashmir than this. And hopefully those doubters about what Kashmir should be doing, this will lay to rest a lot of these things. And hopefully, we will do our best to dispel all the doubts that people may have. So Hari, take it away.
Yeah. See, as you correctly said, this 70 years that and people talk about the 370 and all those things, 35 years. It's a very small component, because the history of Kashmir, which is integral part of India, right. The head of India, the fountainhead of India, goes back to 7,000 plus years. And the word Kashmir itself comes from the word Kashyapa Muni, who is the progenitor of the whole race that is in India. Kashyapa and Aditi. It comes from the Deva, Asura, both come from, source themselves from Kashyapa Muni. So Kashmir. This word Kashmir itself is not limited to India alone. If you look at it, the word Kashmir has actually a triangle. In Kashmir, you have the word coming from Kashyapa. You go across the Karakoram into western, what is western China, you have Kashgar. Kashgar was a huge city on the other side of the Himalaya mountains, and it was a city of enormous repute, where there are 10,000 Buddhist stupa 4,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, like that. So, and it was a huge city that was there. And further west, if you go as a triangle, if you form, the Caspian Sea, the word Caspian also comes from the word Kashyapa, Kashyapa Sagar, which is now anglicized to Caspian Sea. So that's why you had a big triangle, the Kashyapa triangle as we call it now in this book, it's there, okay. And this is integral part of that large civilization. This is the fountainhead. And today, the presiding divinity of Kashmir is what we reverentially call as Kashmira Pura Vasini. Pura is a place, a habitation, an area. Vasini is one who resides in, like Srinivasa. So Vasini, so Kashmira Pura Vasini, one who resides. So she is the divinity. And for us, every part of this earth is divine and feminine in nature. The earth is Bhuma Devi. Earth. Bharat Mata is also a feminine divinity. It's not limited to India alone. You got Mother Russia, then you got Britannica in England, which is a female divinity. Then you got Lady Liberty in France. Then you got Ishtar in Persia. So across the world, you have this concept of lady divinity. So much so in India also, as you said. If you take the Telugu land, it's called Telugu Talli. If you take Tamil Nadu, it's called Tamil Thai. Odisha is called Utkala Janani. So across India you have this concept of, and so also you have the concept of Kashmira Pura Vasini, who goes back to well over 7,000 years. Because if Rama is 7,100 years ago, and Kashyapa is a predecessor of Rama by at least 40, 50, 70 generations, then he goes back with that many more millennia. So you get this lineage from there. So you have Kashyapa, then who prays to the divinity there of Kashmira Pura Vasini, whom we look at as Sharada. Sharada is the divinity of that area, and you have the Sharada temple. Unfortunately, today it is in the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, so it is derelict. The temple is there, and Sharada is not just a divinity. Sharada represents, it's a Shakti Peetam. And Shakti Peetam is what? Shakti Peetam represents different portions of the body, portions of the Divine Mother. And what does Sharada represent? The lips of the divinity. And what do the lips give us? Vak, word. When you say Vak, it comes the word. So it's a divinity of speech, Sharada. And the language, the script, the language is Sanskrit. But the script is, there's a lipi which is called lipi.
Right.
That lipi is Sharada lipi. You got different lipi. You can have Brahmi lipi. Roman diacritic is also a lipi. The Roman language is also a lipi. So like you can write the same language, Sanskrit or any other language, in different lipi.
Right.
So that lipi then, what was used till about as recently was the Sharada lipi, which is from this Devi Sharada. Then you come down through the ages. Then you come to Buddha. The Buddha disciples, Buddha bhikkhus had, because Buddha lived around 1800 BCE. And from that time, it's not the popularly now expressed view of 500 BCE. Buddha lived 1300 years before what is now taught to us actually. So that is 1800 BCE, and from then onwards, the Buddha bhikkhu have been visiting Kashmir because it's a seat of learning. So they got to discuss there. So you got a lineage of them coming there. So because of which, when Kanishka, the Kushan king who ruled with Purushpur, that is present day Peshawar, as his capital, where did he deem it fit to conduct the 4th Buddhist Grand Council? He conducted it in Kashmir, because that was a big center by then of Buddhist learning. So it was the Ashwagosha was there, the great scholar of Buddhism. He presided over the conference. The 4th Buddhist Council happened there. Like that. So it's been a center of Indic thought right through. Similarly, Adi Shankara, who visited Kashmir to pray to Kashmira Pura Vasini, what did she do? What did he do? When did he visit? He visited roughly about 520 BCE Kashmir, and he went to 2 places. One, he went to the Shankaracharya hill, which is now in present day Srinagar town. He went up there, which is about 1000 feet high from the valley, and there's a Shiva temple there. He prayed to the Shiva temple there, and he composed Shivananda Lahari there. And he went 100 kilometers further north to the Sharada Peeth Mandir, and that is where he composed Saundarya Lahari, a beautiful poem on the form of Devi. What is this form of Devi? Devi is divinity. And the Saundarya Lahari, what does it mean? Saundarya, beautiful, Lahari, waves, Leher. So it's called, he composed a poem in the Sanskrit language, an astoundingly beautiful poem called Saundarya Lahari. What is it about? The beautiful waves. Today, in the last 100 years, we have something called the wave theory. Heisenberg and others have spoken about the wave theory. Whereas here, 2500 years back, we have Adi Shankara sitting in front of Ma Sharada Devi and composing a poetry on the beautiful waves of the divine universe, of the divine sources. Amazing that what he thought was a 150-year-old theory of the beautiful waves that is there in this universe was composed at least 2400 years prior to that in Kashmir, at the feet of Ma Sharada Devi, Kashmira Pura Vasini. Like that, since then you got series of scholars who have visited or been an integral part of Kashmir, which has been an integral part of India. You have the other great Vaishnavite saint, Swami, who was born in Sri Perumbudur, west of present day Chennai, who lived in Kanchipuram for a substantial period of time, and he travelled from here all the way up to Kashmir to get certain important treatises in the Indic lore from the Kashmira Pura Vasini. He and his immediate disciple Kurat Arvan, they travelled all the way up to there to read those texts. So Kashmir was not far up, it was well within the reach for them to travel. by foot 1,000 years back and collate the data and bring it. It's there. Like that, you have got Abhinav Gupta, the great scholar who expounded Kashmir Shaivism so beautifully 1,000 years back, a contemporary of Ramanuja. See, Shaivism has had a variety of places, a variety of Shaivisms all across the world. In South, you got Tennattu That's why when you say in South, you say Tennattu Potri. You praise the southern Shiva, the Shiva of the southern lands. Like that, there is a unique Kashmir Shaivism also available for you. So that was beautifully expounded by Abhinav Gupta. So there is not one Shaivism. The Shaivism is yes one, but you look at it from different perspectives. In Karnataka, Basaveswara, the great scholar, the divine person, looked at it from another perspective. The beauties, see, Satyam, Sivam, Sundaram. It's Satya, truth, it's Shivam, life, auspicious, it's Sundaram, beautiful. So you can look at it from different perspectives. That's what all of them have looked at and expounded it beautifully. Then you got the great king Lalita Aditya, who lived about 1,000 years back, who conquered from the Caspian Sea in the northwest all the way up to Karnataka. That was his range of his kingdom. Amazing range of kingdom that he had here, and up to almost up to Bengal. One of the greatest kings that this land has given, Kashmir has ever given. And he built a wonderful temple, Martand, for sun. It is one of the, you have the sun temples of India, the famous sun temples of India. You can think of Konark sun temple, you can think of any other sun temple you can think of. The Martand is one of them. And it's called the Dwadasha Aditya. What is Dwadasha? The Dasha 10, Dwa 2, so Dwadasha is 12. So the 12 great sun temples of India, Martand sun temple is one of them. The 12 great sun temples of India. Today you have Konark that people see, they think of it. There is Modera in Gujarat. You have so many more sun temples all across India. So this is part of, so you had to separate among what you call Hinduism today. There was actually a combination of 6 religions that's come up in the last 150 years. Before it was 6 distinct religions, which is known then was Shad Madam, or the 6 religions. Madam, religion, comes from the word Mati, thought, mind. So from Mati comes Mata, religion. That's why when you say the elephant is gone wild, you say it's got mast. It's gone mast. So you have this, so Matam. That's why you got Mata, where religious leaders live. Matam, Sri Matam, Shankaracharya Matam, like that you have Matam, Adi Shankara. So that's Shad Madam, which are the 6 religions that India practiced popularly, which even Adi Shankara has mentioned about. In Kashmir is mentioned about it. Sauram for the sun, Shaktam for Shakti, Vaishnavam for Vishnu followers, Shaivam for Shiva followers, Kaumaram for Skanda followers, and Ganapatiyam for Ganesha followers. So the 6 religions. So that is how you got the 6 religions of India. And Shakti. So there is a Shakti temple in Shakti Peeth, the northernmost Shakti Peeth of India is the Sharada Peetham that is there now in Pakistan occupied Kashmir. Is there. Similarly, you have Shivasthala, which is there in Srinagar. The Shankaracharya hill is a Shivasthala. Yeah, so you got all this, and you have Sauram, the great Martanda temple, which was built by Lalitaditya. Sauram. So India has had a continuous long history. Incidentally, you find the word Kashmir in the Mahabharata text. It's the same name. So across 5,100 years since the events of the Mahabharata, which happened, the Kurukshetra war took place in 3067 BCE, which are mentioned in our books, Historical Krishna. The names of places, many places have changed. So of course Sindh is there, Kashi is still there, other places, but many other place names have changed. But you also find Kashmir name continuously used as Kashmir. So geographically that place has been called Kashmir right from the days of Mahabharata and before. So it's a 5,100 year continuous usage of the name Kashmir you find in this land. How do we say that? It's an interesting episode. Before the start of the Kurukshetra war, the Pandava side and the Kaurava side go looking for, scouting for allies who will fight with them.
Right.
When they go scouting for allies, they look for different kingdoms. They Kashi joins one of them, Jayadratha of Sindhu joins one of them, each one of them join one of them.
Right.
Okay, Virata, each one join, Chedi, different kingdoms join one side or the other.
Right.
So they are looking at Kashmir, who Kashmir will join. What happened was at the time in Kashmir, the king had passed away. So the young prince who had not attained majority, that is 16 at the time, Shodasha, to take reins of the throne. So he was a minor. Okay, and his regent was his queen mother, Rajmata was the regent. So what did both parties, the Pandava and Kaurava, decide? Since the king is not yet of age to decide which side he should wants to take part or doesn't want to take part, they decide that Kashmir will be neutral. So that's where we get clear reference of Kashmir as being neutral and not taking part in the famous Kurukshetra war, even though it is geographically very close to them, just up north.
Right.
From Kurukshetra, so they didn't take part. So you get clear reference to name and the historical king that was there then with the names and the Rajmata's name. Like that you find this across the land, right? And even then Kashmir was looked at as a land equal to Swarga. That is there. Similarly, that name Swarga for Kashmir has been a used term, used thought in India right through the ages. To the extent when Jahangir, the Mughal king, annexed Kashmir and was ruling Kashmir after Akbar's time, he started ruling Kashmir. What did he call? He said that this land is like paradise. He said it thrice. In the Urdu language of those times, he said it thrice. Similarly, when he said it, a couple of 100 years later, Jawaharlal Nehru, who became the Prime Minister of India, he repeated the same thing, used the same word of the Mughal king Jahangir and said this is paradise, this is paradise, this is paradise, 3 times he said. So he had copied what Jahangir had said, the Mughal king, and repeated as far as Kashmir is concerned. Who in turn Jahangir had taken from the ancient Kashmiri lore of saying this land is Swarga. So that this Kashmir is an integral part of India and is a land that is looked up, such beautiful land of Swarga has come down through the ages. And later on, after the Mughal kingdom went through to decline, Maharaja Ranjit Singh came to rule over much of Punjab with Lahore as his capital. When he did starting ruling, then they found that Kashmir was going through scores of problems. So the local Dogras approached Maharaja Ranjit Singh to help them out. So he marched his army into Kashmir, liberated Kashmir, and then liberated the people from the problems that they were facing then. And that continued. So into the times after Maharaja Ranjit Singh, then his son Dilip Singh and all that, so it continued to be part of the grand Sikh kingdom. Later Gulab Singh independently became a king on his own right a century later.
That is following the death of Ranjit Singh, and there was some palace intrigues, and there was some interesting stuff that happened, and Gulab Singh managed to usurp this area.
And he became the king. Yeah. So it was his descendants who came up to Hari Singh, who in it was a Dogra kingdom. They were very brave people, Dogras. See how you look at the Nepalis, Gorkhas to be brave warriors of the world, and then the Kumaon regiment of Uttarakhand to be brave warriors of this world. Similarly, the Dogras are no less in bravery, in valor, very brave warriors. I have had the good opportunity of meeting number of Dogras in the Indian armed forces these days. Oh, wonderfully brave warriors. So it's a tradition of India to be Veera, Kshatriya Bhava, that they exhibited, the Dogras exhibited, and it was this kingdom that continued up to 1947 when Hari Singh, due to the circumstances then of illegal intrusion by the then fledgling state of Pakistan into his kingdom of Kashmir, he signed a treaty. He asked for Indian help. India said only if you sign an accession treaty will we help you, which is rightfully so, because we can't enter an alien kingdom to support them, which especially at a fledgling time. So he signed an accession treaty with India, signed by him and by the then Governor General of India, Lord Louis Mountbatten. It was signed and accepted to be an integral part of India, and the accession treaty signed by him was the same accession treaty word for word that all other 560 kingdoms had signed. So it was no different. The same accession treaty was signed to be a part of India, and who was signed by Lord Louis Mountbatten a citizen of Britain, of the Crown of England, who was then officiating as the Governor General of India. So it is an Indian government's representative who had signed it, which had accepted by the English citizenry also. So today they cannot say we did not take. Yes, it is authorized signatory available. So that is so it became integral part of India. But unfortunately, due to lot of political turmoil and give and takes, which are rightly or wrongly, all those things, we had 70 years of issues, and now it's been by what you call as MSD. MSD is now in cricket sporting parlance is known as Mahendra Singh Dhoni. But here you have Modi, Shah and Doval. So this MSD trio have effectively ensured that Kashmir, after the 70-year-old issue, has now totally integrated with India. So we have seen the past history of India right through 7,000 years, how Kashmir has been an integral part of this land of Bharatavarsha, India, politically, philosophically, spiritually, geographically, and from all perspectives. It's been an integral part of India and a crowning glory of India, the Shikara, the crowning glory of India, so to say, and beautifully. And now, what's it? It's now fully integrated. It was acceded to India in 1947, integrated with India in 2019. And what is the role for Kashmir from 2020? We have a big role for India. It's a challenge for the youth, the generation of 2020, to get back the residual portion of Kashmir that is illegally occupied in Pakistan, to get it back to India, the Pakistan occupied residual Kashmir. So that's a challenge for the 2020 generation to bring it back into India. The way the 1970 generation had the role of creating Bangladesh and splitting, because it was a proud Bangla people. They were kept under the tight thumb of the Western people. Like that, we have to bring back the full Kashmir back into India, so that from 2020s onwards we can look at true development, because from 4 perspectives for Kashmir. 1, the produce that Kashmir can bring out by way of saffron, which is a very Kashmiri product, to all the old products, to apple, to a range of other produces, to tourism, both religious and fun tourism, winter tourism, fun tourism. Then knowledge. Sharada Devi, Kashmir has always stood for knowledge. Jnana, this land stands for knowledge. And there are summer activities, winter activities. So the whole perspective, so Kashmir should look forward to development, to be integral part of India, where India goes in the new India goes in the form of progress, because Kashmir is not left behind, but the part of it, and forms the Shikara, the crowning glory of Bharatavarsha, of Bharata Mata, in the decades to come.
Thank you for that wonderful talk. I'm sure we're going to have more talks about this topic, as it opens up a new vista for India. Thank you very much.
Thank you.